Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and today I'd like to make a video on the Dragon's Teeth weapons, maybe reviewing them some and showing you how they act and all, and also giving you an idea, maybe some suggestions as to what attachments to use with them, once you unlock them, that is. Now, keep in mind, DICE released these weapons for the CTE players for one reason only, so they could see if anything needs balancing or tweaking from, suggestions. So it's likely that some of these stats will change before the actual Dragon's Teeth release, as more and more as more and more people start screaming that the weapons are OP. First of all new weapons seem OP at first because the crowd uses them exclusively, precisely because they're new. In fact, during my recording of this footage, in a couple of rounds, I've read about 1,000 times in the chat, the Bulldog is OP, the Deagle is OP, the Unica is OP. No, it's not. They are made to put down silly amounts of damage to break the glass window on the shield in one shot, which only breaks if a single shot exceeds about 55 damage, by the way. Which, by the way, saddens me even further, talking about the shield, because it happened exactly like I said it would happen in my ballistic shield review commentary a couple of days ago. I said then that everyone started getting their panties in a twist, yelling about the shield being OP, and DICE caved to these try-hard noobs and took it down to a 2-hit kill. In fact, it now looks as though the damage the shield bash does becomes even less the further away you are from the enemy. Now, I seem to be in the minority here, but this severe nerf saddens me. I think the shield had little going for it as it was, and taking its one-hit kill ability was the wrong move. The shield could be shot through the glass, blown up. The character could be killed with splash damage radius of any explosives, like the frag rounds. To provide full protection, the character had to crouch, where movement of any type or pushing forward with your team became a moot point, and the character was vulnerable when running, bashing, or even just turning slightly off the attacker, as the shield cover was very small. Add to that, I think that the shield bash, which worked basically like the knife takedown in the same radius bout, was entirely justified. I mean, if you're dumb enough to let someone get point blank close to you without noticing them or killing them first, you deserve to die, just like with the knife takedown. And before you start going off on me that the knife can be countered, unlike the shield, I'll remind you that it can only be countered in an attack from the front. Alright, but enough about that. Let's take a look at the Dragon Teeth weapons, stats, and my suggestions on which attachments to use. So first, let's take a look at the Bulldog 762 assault rifle. In real life, this is the Juggernaut chassis for the M14 that FPS Russia showed in his video a while back. It's wrapped in a much more convenient bullpup design, which in Battlefield 4 has a few drawbacks and probably needs a buff. While doing a good amount of 762-esque damage of 34 at 8 meters, which drops off to 25 at 55 meters, exactly like the Scar Rage. It also has a smaller magazine of 20 rounds, again exactly like the Scar Rage. Unlike the Scar Rage though, it has a much higher rate of fire at 700 rounds per minute, which means that the magazine will last you even less than it did with the Scar Rage. Another drawback is that you get very little ammo overall in your backup magazines for the Bulldog because of the larger caliber. So you either need to have a good teammate who throws down ammo boxes for you, or equip the offensive field upgrade, which increases your maximum magazine carrying capacity in its second tier. The Bulldog's per shot upwards recoil takes the new record at 0.55 per shot, which is even more than that of the Scar H. Add to that its 2.1 first shot multiplier recoil, and you've got a nasty combination that obviously needs a buff one way or the other. Incidentally, the 2.1 first shot multiplier is even more than the Scar H had. Also, the Bulldog's reload speed is nothing to write home about, clocking in at 3.05 seconds for the short reload, which is the longest among assault rifles, but just slightly, and 3.6 seconds for the long reload, which is also not very short. Now, the Bulldog also has a low muzzle velocity of only 450 meters per second, which is just higher than that of the Scar H and much lower than the other assault rifles. So again, it's at a disadvantage. So, because of the low muzzle velocity, I don't recommend you use the Bulldog at range, and especially with that horrible vertical recoil amount. Up close though, the 700 RPM rate of fire is enough to take anyone down but quick. So, I recommend your favorite 1x sight, like the Holo, and either an angle grip to deal with the first shot multiplier some, and maybe the muzzle brake to lessen the vertical kick. Equip the compensator if you want to dampen the nasty 0.3 side-to-side recoil, or the heavy barrel if you want to be a little more accurate and have less spread. And now, the awesomeness that is the Desert Eagle. Well, I mean, the Deagle is just about the most insane thing ever added to this game. It looks amazing, it feels even better, and with the character actually using both hands to hold it for a change, and the visual recoil that is just so ridiculous, I wouldn't be surprised if it moved you back 2 feet each time you fired it. And, by the way, I kind of wonder why, if you're holding the Deagle with 2 hands, why didn't DICE make you hold the 93R with 2 hands as well, using the front grip? I mean, the flip down front grip for automatic firing. Alright, well, anyway, the reload animation is, I think, one of the most hilariously insane features of the Deagle. Honestly, it looks so satisfying, I just want to make a GIF of it and frame it on my wall. And speaking of ridiculous looks, because the forward and the upper part of the slide don't move when you equip any sight on the Deagle, it is attached to the midpoint of the gun, just like in real life, adding to its colorful character. So the Deagle is just the sexiest gun ever, with the monster damage like that of the 44 Magnum, with nearly no trigger delay. And you might ask, well, why are all these Dragon's Teeth weapons so ridiculously OP? Well, there's a couple of reasons for this. As I said before, these handgun damage models are made to shatter the shield's glass window so you can have a clear shot to the guy behind it. In one shot, because the glass will shatter only if one shot exceeds a certain amount of damage. Now, the actual stats of the Deagle are pretty sick as well. It puts down 56 maximum damage at 12.5 meters which drops off to 37.5 at 50 meters, just like the 44 Magnum. It has a monstrous upwards recoil of 2, again just like the Magnum, which isn't that surprising since it uses the same ammo, and a 220 rounds per minute rate of fire, which is the same as the SW40 revolver, but with very little or no trigger delay. And I'm very much hoping that DICE will not nerf this. So basically it's an uber cannon, and I see unfortunately it being nerfed in the future, as I said, because it's somewhat OP right now. So as far as the attachments go that I recommend for it, I would say equip the heavy barrel and a favorite sight like the RDS, and maybe a laser pointer if you want to hip fire this monster, which I don't really recommend doing. Now on to the Unica 6 revolver. Again, it is a monstrously, insanely huge weapon that puts down a monster truck-like amount of damage and has a vertical recoil to match. It does a maximum damage of 56 at 15 meters, which drops off to 28 at 37 meters. Same damage model as the Rex, by the way, with a lot less trigger delay. The trigger delay on the Rex is just fakakta insane. Now, to get the most out of the Unica 6, I recommend equipping your favorite sights, which I think have to be the Ghost Ring, because anything else just looks too cumbersome and frankly just doesn't go well with the huge amount of visual recoil. A laser light combo, because first of all it looks boss on this gun, and let's face it, pimping out your gun is more important than its technical specs. Well, no, I'm obviously kidding, but anyway, a gun has to look good. Now, the laser does make for a very tight hipfire spread for the Unica 6, as opposed to all the other lasers. The combo with the light just looks better on this gun, I think. I also recommend, much like in real life, you use the compensator, helping with what is already not a bad horizontal recoil of 0.2 per shot, left and right. Now on to the little PDW that could, the Sig Sauer MPX. It's a great thing actually, and has several things going for it. It puts out a maximum damage of 27 at 8 meters, which drops off to 13 at 55 meters, which is actually more than any other PDW, except the ASVEL and the UMP-45 obviously. It has a very respectable 850 rounds per minute rate of fire, and a muzzle velocity of 340 meters per second standard barrel, which is actually on the lower end of the spectrum, so I don't recommend using a suppressor with it. It has one of the higher per shot vertical recoils of all PDWs at 0.36 degrees per shot, and a first shot multiplier of 2.1. It also has a pretty good reload speed of 2.1 seconds for the short reload and 2.7 seconds for the long reload, which is, by the way, the second fastest among all PDWs. Now, my personal favorite attachments to use with the MPX are, well, any sight of your choice, obviously, let's say the RDS, a laser pointer, because with it the MPX turns into a laser straight hipfire monster, much like the M5K in Battlefield 3, and a compensator or muzzle brake to help you buff the horizontal or vertical recoils respectively. Now, last but not least is the new bolt-action sniper rifle, the Macmillan CS5. Designed short to be easily concealed in real life, in Battlefield 4 it comes with its own suppressor, and although it can be removed, I am playing with it here. Now, generally I suck at aggressive sniping, or any kind of sniping for that matter, but Here I was able to thread a few shots that surprised even me. Once later in the video, you might even notice I put a round square through the window of a guy carrying the shield, and, well, needless to say, he's not carrying the shield anymore. So, it's a 7.62 sniper rifle, dealing out 100 max damage at 12.5 meters, which drops off to 59 at 100 meters. Its muzzle velocity is the slowest among bolt-action sniper rifles at 400 meters a second, standard barrel, and 300 meters a second when using a suppressor. Now, in fact, the suppressed bullet is so slow that there was an instance in this gameplay when I fired a round I thought was going to miss by a mile, but hit because the enemy suddenly moved directly into the bullet's flight path while it was slowly making its way over to him. The reload time of the CS5 is also nothing to write home about at 2.7 seconds for the short reload and a full 4 seconds for the long reload. As with any sniper rifle, it really doesn't matter what attachments you equip with it, as long as you like them. Use your favorite scope, a suppressor if you're not gonna go for those long distance shots where you might need the extra bullet speed, and something I don't think any bolt-action sniper rifle could do without, the straight pull bolt. So I think that's it for the weapon reviews and the attachment list that I think I would use. Thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video that helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one. And remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.